Tee Higgins got Stephen A. Smith all hot and bothered this week, and in this video, I'll explain the one question that Bengals players like Higgins are sick of answering. Hi again, Bengals fans. John Sheeran of A to Z Sports Cincinnati here, and I really don't blame any Bengals player who's tired of answering questions about starting the season fast. It's been 8 months of this conversation and this talking point constantly being in the forefront whenever these guys have to talk about the upcoming season, and frankly, there's just not that many ways of which you can answer that question specifically. And I think this is what Stephen A. Smith didn't realize when he was on one of his usual tirades on ESPN's First Take. Because Stephen A. did get word of what Tee Higgins had to say about the narrative of the Bengals needing to start fast, and essentially, he kind of dismissed it. Higgins told Adam Shine recently that I really don't like the narrative of getting off to a hot start. I just feel like at the end of the day, we just got to execute as a team. Offense got to complement the defense got to complement the offense, and special teams got to complement both. At the end of the day, it just comes down to executing as a team and finishing the game all the way through the fourth quarter. And then Stephen A., who only cares about the surface level topics with every NFL team, had to say that that's going to be a top 10 ignorant quote of the year, and it was a foolish statement on his part. And guys, this is kind of why the players are sick of talking about it. There's nothing interesting to expand on here. It's just a matter of winning games that typically you haven't won before. Of course, it's ironic because before the Zach Taylor era, it was all about the Bengals couldn't win the final games of the season, and they had no trouble getting out of the gates in September on a good start. But it doesn't come down to a whole new mindset or philosophy about how to win the first games on your schedule. And because of that, I totally understand what Higgins was saying. It's just about doing the simple things correctly. It's not about completely reinventing the wheel. He's not saying that it's not a problem that they aren't winning these games. He's saying that the solution, though, isn't rocket science. And if the expectation is every time a player is asked about this question, they have to take it so seriously and come up with this profound answer about it, I think that's silly. And it's clearly what someone like Stephen A. wanted to hear, and he just didn't get that answer. But guys, it really isn't that complicated at all. The Bengals have lost games in weeks 1 and 2 of the last 6 years because they just didn't play well. Whether the quarterback has been hurt, whether the offensive line hasn't been in sync yet, you can go through a bunch of excuses, but it all leads to the same conclusion. The better the Bengals are as a team entering September 7th, the better chance they have to win in week 1, and week 2 for that matter. It's as simple as that. And it's exactly what Higgins said, and it's exactly what Stephen A. Smith ignored. Now, I will say this. When it's January, February, or March, and the offseason is just a baby, and that question is a little bit fresher in your mind, you haven't heard it as much, maybe you can offer a more expansive answer instead of just rattling off cliches. But when it's the middle of August, and you're deep into training camp and deep into preparation, you have to get your mind right, there's just nothing else that really needs to be said other than we just have to execute. Because that's what they're trying to do right now. The time for talk is basically over. What Higgins and the 52 other players who are going to make this team need to be focused on is just taking things one day at a time. One practice at a time, one preseason game at a time. September 7th will be here before anyone knows it. And when that time comes, they will know what's on everyone's mind. There's no doubt about it. But the way to silence the people like Stephen A. Smith is to just go out there and do exactly what Higgins said.